today,
Peace,
man?
man. Show and Prove Day, you know, Sea Law Nation, Toronto. Today's the Show and Prove month because this is the day that the Father went back to the essence. So this is the anniversary of the Father's going back to the essence. The Father, Allah, went back to the essence June 13th. So in this month, it starts off in Harlem, New York, in the first week. And then at the ending of the week, or the ending of the month, they have rallies all over New York State, New York City, all over to commemorate the Father and his teachings. So this is us in Canada doing it, also to commemorate our brothers from Montreal and the brothers from Steel City that are here. And yeah, we're just here to show and prove that Allah still lives. We're here to manifest his wisdom, you know, and pass it down to the next generation. So anybody that wants to learn about the gods, anybody who wants to find out about the gods, you know what I mean, come through and add on and build with us, you know what I mean? So that's what it is. This is called the Show and Prove month, you know what I mean? And we just here to show and prove that, yeah, you know, the gods are still here and we're still building and adding on, you know what I mean? My brother, original self.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, man.
He's at the Parliament right now in Fort Greene in Brooklyn.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? We just about to spark. You had your first build in front of the Parliament. How was it? You see, you got the crown on.
They all told me that, you know, that was, they said good build.
Yeah.
Went up there and you know, I went up there. Today's date, June 29th. Today's Supreme Mathematics Wisdom born. You know what I mean? With my wisdom, you're gonna see what I born. And from what I born, it's gonna be real, tangible, and benefit to everyone around me, God.
Peace. Young Rich here. He's studying.
Okay.
Today's Mathematics is Wisdom born. My name is Born King Mathematics and Law. First and foremost, I'm happy that everybody can make it. We haven't had a cipher in a long time, and the determined idea was for us to come together. I wanted us to come together, so it's dope to have my brothers from Steel City come through, my brothers from Montreal come through, and we're here in Truth Cipher, because Truth Cipher is where the knowledge was first born and was first manifested in Toronto, you know what I mean? So that's kind of the whole message and the whole meaning of us, you know, building here. Also to commemorate my brother King Messiah, also known as Young Marley. This is his neighborhood, and I wanted you know, him to be able to bring some of his young boys to the cipher that we could get exposed to the youth. So he said some of his young boys are going to come through later on and we're going to build. But today's Mathematics is Wisdom born. I want everybody to basically born their wisdom. Introduce yourself to the cipher. Get used to building in a cipher and manifesting your name. Some of these brothers here don't even know your name. They've never even seen y'all before. You know what I mean? So this is a chance for you to even manifest who you are, you know what I mean, to the gods. Today's mathematics, you know what I mean, maybe how long you've had the knowledge, and let brothers get a better understanding of who you are as a true and living God. You know what I mean? So, you know, dealing with wisdom, being wise words, ways and actions, and born is to bring it to existence. We're here to manifest the supreme wisdom of Almighty God Allah. You know what I mean? I call it show and prove. A lot of people think, oh, it's about show and prove the lessons. Yeah, that's one thing, but it's also to show and prove that we exist. In order to show and prove that you exist, you have to show up. You know what I mean? This is the month that Allah went back to the essence, so this is the show and prove month, right? Some of y'all brothers went to the show and prove and came back. You know what I mean? My brown seed told me when they went to the show and prove and came back, there was a lot of building that was being done. You know what I mean? He informed me that a lot of y'all brothers came back and didn't even really show and prove or even build or even came back and brought some of the information. So maybe you could do that today. Share some of that information, that knowledge that you got when you went to Mecca, because that's what you're supposed to do. If you go to Mecca, you build, you went to, you know what I mean, the holy city, you're supposed to bring that knowledge and bring it back and share it with your family, you know what I mean? And so we could get that experience, knowledge, and that wisdom from some of the brothers that have never been to Mecca or cannot even cross and go to Mecca. You see what I'm saying? So we want to, you know what I mean, get y'all to get back into the swing of things, start manifesting some of your wisdom, and so we can get together more as a family and build and add on. You know what I mean? My brothers understand the righteous and respect Almighty. just recently, you know what I mean, acknowledged their 120, so they're gonna be going through their 120. That's gonna be an exclusive 120 cipher for the brothers that have 120 to bear witness and to these brothers, so they can show fruits and different flags. And yeah, man, that's the science. Peace to the God, positive Almighty. We're coming down from now wide, you know what I mean, to bear witness and add on with us, you know what I mean, and that's the science, you know what I'm saying. So I'm just gonna step out the cipher and I'm gonna let King Marley come in first. This is his hood, this is his neighborhood, so he can kind of build, let us know a little bit about his cipher. I don't know if you bear witness, he shot a little movie, you know what I mean, called King's Court, dealing with his neighborhood and his experience and what he's been going through. So that's another reason why we kind of had it in his cipher as well. You know what I mean? Because the young God is doing great things in his neighborhood. So I want to give the chance to God to build and kind of manifest himself and go through the day's mathematics. So peace to the God. Peace.
Peace. King Messiah Allah. A lot of y'all know me as Marley. You know what I'm saying? This is very important to me. I'll just start off by saying that. A little bit of my background. I'm from this community, St. Jamestown, downtown Regent Park, all the way down to Esplanade. I mean, St. Jamestown is my headquarters, but I got love for all of Toronto and downtown, And even coming into this knowledge, it made me realize that a lot of the brothers from different areas is just like me. You know what I'm saying? So like a little bit of my background too. Like growing up, I didn't have mentorship. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a father figure, so I was looking for that validation in the streets. You know what I mean? And I always felt like there was something wrong because I know say that the system had us, the original man, going at each other. I just didn't know that we were the original people for real, you know what I'm saying? Let alone the supreme being, you know what I mean? So coming into this knowledge, it gave me that direction, you know what I'm saying, to move towards and help me get a clear understanding of myself. And even with the youth that I'm dealing with as well, right? If I don't have a clear understanding of myself, it's kind of hard for me to show them what's good from what's not for real, So one of the main reasons why this is very, very important to me is because this is who I depend on for my mentorship, you know what I'm saying? And for my strength in the community as well, I know we haven't done many ciphers before, but this is something that I know not only for myself, but a lot of other young brothers as well that are studying, you know what I'm saying? Help us hold ourselves accountable, some of the older guys, you know what I'm saying? I know that the man have very swift wisdom and understanding, and it's like, we need that, you know what I'm saying? We need each other. We also need to be around the elders who can help sharpen our swords, you know what I mean? So I appreciate all y'all for being here. How I see today's mathematics, wisdom is the reflection of one's knowledge. What do I mean by that? It's a person's words, ways, and their actions. You can see what's in a person's mind and who they are based off of how they move. That's how you get the understanding, you know what I mean? And born means to be complete. To be is to exist. To be born means to be brought forth into existence, you know what I'm saying? So when you're born, it's like you're completing yourself, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm striving for, even with this knowledge, trying to get 120, complete myself, you know what I'm saying, as the original man. Also too, one thing that I want to add on with today's mathematics, when I was thinking about it, is the space between wisdom and born is the God number, So when I think about that, I just see myself, I understand that I'm the supreme being, so I have to hold myself accountable, My ways and my actions, you know what I'm saying, is what's gonna born my reality, nothing else. You know what I'm saying, for better or worse, So that's how I see today's math. Once again, I appreciate everyone for being here.
Build on your name too, for the brothers that don't even know why you chose that name.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't even know you came from 9Y, so I appreciate you guys. That's big, for real. King Messiah, the black man is king and the world is his kingdom. The king is a man who rules his kingdom with divine wisdom, showing and proving that he has a king's law. You know what I mean? How I see that is, the 11th letter in the alphabet is king. And you put that together, that's wisdom, So through the way that I move, through my life experiences, that's what showed me that I am the king. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the one who's in control of my reality. You know what I mean? And with that comes a great responsibility. Now, Messiah. The reason why I chose Messiah is because coming up before, I didn't have this knowledge, So maybe I had my idea of what the supreme being is through religion, And I was always sitting there waiting around, you know what I mean? Until I realized that it was within myself, So even coming into this knowledge, I didn't pick this name right away. It took me some time to get a clearer understanding of myself and my purpose before I chose that name. I didn't want to choose a name that was going to carry me and not carry the name, right? So the reason why I picked King Messiah is because I see myself as the king, as the black man, as the original man. And the Messiah is because Messiah, that comes from Aramaic. And it's Aramaic for the anointed one. You know, anointed means chosen. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I chose myself. You know what I mean? Not as someone to. I chose myself to be the one who's going to further my own knowledge and further the knowledge of the people around me. You know, and it was through this knowledge with the 5% Nation that helped me see that for myself, and that's how I try to live it up. You know what I mean? And I'm open to build with anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm still learning in this knowledge, and one thing that I'm working on, making my wisdom born, is trying to hold myself more accountable and be more sharp. Because I feel like if there's a proper structure that we can all come together and unify together, we can be getting this more swiftly, and we can be doing our duty a lot quicker. Because if you know what's going on in Toronto, is a crisis, a crisis. You know, and it's what our people is with the babies. You know, so that's our goal. Let's just stay locked in, stay strong, and stay connected.
Let me ask you another question. Not to have you just throw me on the spot, but I know this is your head. What would you say would be the way to reach the youth in your neighborhood? What do you think would be the best way to reach some of the hoods that you're in? You already know these kids is trifling. You had a homie that just got shot, murdered the other day and whatnot. So how do you think would be the means of getting this knowledge to these youths in your neighborhood?
Honestly, what I would say is spending quality time. You know, you don't gotta pull up on them and spit a life lesson to them. Just go play ball with them. You know what I'm saying? Walk and talk with them. You know, like one thing with the guys I learned, if you want to learn more about this, you gotta walk and talk with the God. You know, do like regular stuff. Go get some food and just talk life. You know what I mean? A way that I connect with some of the young homies is just doing regular stuff, playing ball with them. You know what I'm saying? Going to get food with them, chilling at the community center, and then only then, that's where you're creating that bridge and that comfort to get that further understanding. Because it's kind of hard to roll upon a young person and tell them how to live their life if they don't even know who you are. If they don't even know that you can reason with them on a human level, not like, oh, I'm an elder, do this that way, this, that, and the third. No, what's going on with you? You know what I'm saying? What's going on, bro? No, let's just shoot hoops. More times I feel like I'm able to learn more from the youth non-verbally. When I'm not talking with them. You know what I'm saying? It's like what's not being said, that's what you got to pay attention to, you know? And in order to do that, you just got to be present. You know? Like maybe taking if it's an hour of your day or a day out of the week, just say, yo, I'm going to just go check some of the young homies. You know? It don't even have to be young homies. It's someone, even if it's somebody that you know that might be going through a hard time. They might not even know that they're striving for a father, understanding, but you know that. So you can pull up on them. Yo, bro, what's good? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? That way.
That's peace,
That's peace, God. Peace to God. Peace.
Yo, guys, you know, any one of y'all introduce, just take a second, go around. So Supreme Will, introduce yourself, your name, and go on and then pick lines, take a second, go right around. Peace.
Peace to the Cipher.
Peace.
Come in the name of Supreme Will, Allah. Supreme means the Most High. Will means to be determined. Allah is the highest version of myself. Altogether, I see it as me having supreme determination to be the highest version of myself. In order to achieve the highest version of ourselves, we need supreme mathematics. Today's mathematics is wisdom born. Wisdom is your wise words, ways, and actions. Born is to be made complete.
Peace to the Cipher.
Peace.
I come by the name of King Wise Allah. The reason I came up with that name is because I see myself as a black man of knowledge myself. King is the Most High. I'm in the middle of my own dome, the kingdom, you know what I'm saying? So getting this knowledge of yourself, you're getting rid of all the teachers of the 85% that was in your mind before coming into this knowledge, right? So prior to me coming into this knowledge of, you know, I came from a religious household, you know what I'm saying? So I saw God from outside myself, you know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to save myself, I was always looking outside myself to save myself. Prior to getting to this knowledge, but through this journey of getting knowledge of myself, I realized I'm responsible for me, you know what I'm saying? I'm responsible for my foundation, myself. So I gotta save myself in order to make things happen. I gotta apply myself. Yeah.
Try to circle around.
Yeah, I first came across this culture like 2014 times, right? You know what I'm saying? But I didn't realize that the gods weren't kind of like that after all the mistakes, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of fell off a bit until like early 2020. I got in contact with Born King, and then we started ironing off from there, you know what I'm saying? So that's how long I had knowledge on for about power years, you know?
And you went to Mecca last year, you went to the Shon Food last year?
Yeah.
What did you learn going there to the Shon Food?
a lot of togetherness, you know what I'm saying? Brothers coming together, building with each other, you know, the young building with the old, asking questions, you know, listening, you know, being more aware, because like, now why? That's where the culture is from, right? It's a Mecca, you know what I'm saying?
Truth, or Ottawa, Canada. My honorable name is Dominique, divine, and Dominique means the same thing, it means of or from God. Intelligence is the ability to acquire knowledge and skills. This is pretty much what this nation is all about, acquiring knowledge and applying it. I break down intelligence, or I break down divine first by Dominique, or D. I is for intelligence, is victorious in equality. We know that 7 is always above the 6. If you want to stay righteous and wise. Intelligence, with my intel, I generate understanding, which is C, and elevation. So I strive on a daily basis to always elevate myself so I can elevate others. Wisdom is your wise words, your ways, and your actions. Wisdom is also to possess intelligence, a wise mind, or a wise dome, or wise and dumb. Born is to be complete. Born is to manifest mental birth in yourself. The 9 stages of supreme mathematics. After your physical birth, through the 9 stages of pregnancy. And to keep it simple, if you take it to the alphabet, that's B and I. B is to have identity, means to exist or bring into existence. And I is I God, which is our culture. You can also see I for intelligence. You can also see I for being in tune with mathematics, which is our culture. And keep it simple, you know, bring into existence your intelligence through this culture. You know, today's math is wisdom born. Wisdom is the wise ways in your actions. We all took it upon ourselves today through our ways and actions to come here and build. And that's how we complete the cipher. So it's beautiful to see everybody together. It's been a long time coming. I met Born King probably around 2013. Got into my knowledge. Acknowledged my 120 in 2022. It took me a while. Busy man, family, kids, all of that, work. But I had it as a determined idea to make it happen. I needed to acknowledge this 120. It was an obligation. Obviously, everybody goes through ups and downs, but that's how you get to know yourself. This is the knowledge of yourself. And going through 120, going through the trials and tribulations, personal life, managing all of that is part of the process. That is the journey. It's not about the destination. Now that I've acknowledged 120, I'm still going. That's nothing. That's the foundation, if anything, you know? So it's always a reminder to keep humble, stay humble. It's a process, don't rush it. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And through the process, you will get to know yourself. You'll get to know your discipline. You'll get to know what works for you, what doesn't in regards to studying. And you know, that's how you make your wisdom complete, your wisdom born.
Indeed.
That's how simple as math. Peace to God.
Peace.
Peace. That was a long time ago?
Yeah, pre-COVID in Steel City. And this journey with the 5% Nation, it's a big thing to me because as a kid, I grew up religious too in a Catholic household. Latin America, Ecuador is like about, let's say, 85% Catholic, ironically. And I always look for God, you know, everywhere. I tried to look in the books in Islam, Judaism, Christianity, Buddhism. I looked everywhere in the sky. They told me to pray in the book and on my bed to God, but it's always the last place where you look, and that's inside. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why they say arm, leg, arm, supreme head, because we are the true and living. You know, once you don't have to look into the sky, we can look into ourselves and look for our knowledge. And
Peace. Come in the name of respect, Almighty Allah. You know what I'm saying? For Master True Life, Montreal, Canada. Today's mathematics, wisdom born. Wisdom is your wise words, ways, and actions. Born is to complete. You know what I'm saying? And how about see today's mathematics? Basically, is to keep your word. You know what I'm saying? Stay true to your word. Stay true to your actions. It's not a front. This is real life. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom born, you know what I'm saying? That's how I see today's mathematics.
Peace.
Truth Cipher.
Peace.
My honorable name is Shane. My righteous name is ICY that I chose for myself. I meaning I, who's one with God. Seeing is to have an understanding of God. So ICY basically means understanding God. I met Born King, must have been about 10, 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, when I first got the knowledge of mathematics. I live in Toronto. Today's mathematics being wisdom born. Wisdom is the manifestation of your knowledge put into activation in real time, and otherwise meaning your wise words, ways, and actions. And to be born is to be complete. So the way that I see that is wisdom born means is you take the way that you live your life and bring that to completion to do whatever mission you need to achieve in life.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace. My name is Just Ad. Educated born truth. I'm coming from Steel City Dames in Hamilton, Ontario. Those who don't know. My name is Just Ad. Just is in accordance with the law. And we know that the law is supreme mathematics. And through my adherence to that law, I came into the realization of who I am. Who man is. Man is mind. Conscious creating his life based on how you choose to look at it. But the only one that can save you, the only one that can change your life is one who's experiencing all the time. Add means to take that which is separate and unify it to produce a greater sum. The reason I have that in my name is because it's a reminder that everything I do, I have to do it with purpose and I have to add something of value. So personally for me, one of the ways I show and prove that over the last 5 years, while I was getting out of yourself, I attended university, I got a degree in accounting, a graduate degree in accounting, and I currently work at a leading accounting firm in the world and showing and proving that God is God of God.
How long you have knowledge now?
I got knowledge in 2018. 2018. I would say take time. Some of what the brother was saying, life gets in the way. But I always felt that having the knowledge and being able to apply it to the world is really how you get the understanding. But like I was saying earlier, it's easy to be righteous 5% or amongst all the 5%. It's different to go into the world and be amongst that world, in the world of the 6, and not allowed to make you become 6. You know? And how I see today's math, wisdom born. Wisdom is the activation of your mind. And born is to be delivered from the womb so that you could be one with your Father. Wisdom born is essentially the process of how you come into existence, be complete. And the way you do that is by going through the 9 stages of supreme mathematics. That's a process of taking away all of the things that lower and limit you and preserving that which keep you right and exact. And that's why for me, the first thing I was taught was supreme mathematics. It's the first thing I go through every single day. Because when you have the supreme mathematics, which is the righteous law first and foremost, you can detect whether anything in your life, whether it be a thought, whether it be a person, goes in accordance with it. And if it does, you can preserve it. If not, leave that shit away. Because it's not going to serve you. And through going through that process, eventually something's going to break. Because in order for something to be born, something must first break. Which is that way of thinking that limits you. You see? And when that something break, you come into the knowledge of yourself. You got the 2 knowledges. Wisdom born with 2 knowledges. You see? The knowledge of who you are and the knowledge of who you are not. And with that comes a choice. You can either choose to build and to add on to life and to create your reality in a fruitful manner, or you can put the shit down. But the science, a lot of people I hear say, they'll say, I used to be, I used to be a 5%, I used to have knowledge. But the truth is, if you put this down, you never really picked it up. Because when you have knowledge yourself, you know that there's no other choice but to add on.
Peace to the Cipher.
Peace.
I'm Rock, from Toronto. And today's math is wisdom born. Wisdom being your wise ways, words, and actions. Using your wise words to wise the dumb. Being born is to be complete, and making sure that everything that you do has to go through all the stages. Right? 1 to 9, make sure it's born is complete. So how I see today's math is using your wise words, your ways, how you move to born something and complete that, which is like positivity. Making sure you have something. Using your wisdom to born something that's positive and righteous. Especially if you have seeds or something. I have a few seeds, so everything I do, I gotta show the right path for my youth, right? I'm using that for them. Making sure what I born is something that they can carry on and that they can see.
Today's mathematics is wisdom born. Wisdom is what? Dealing with the wise man or the wise woman. But the wise individual knows that they must think before they speak, but not just speak, but the way what? You move. Because wisdom is like water, you know what I mean? Wisdom is the way. Born is dealing with what? 360 degrees. Because when you understand your equality in the cipher, you know what I'm saying? Then you have full awareness and you make that cipher complete. See? So basically when you add on the wisdom and the born, you get what? Knowledge. Knowledge is what? Exactly, it's a foundation. That's the first step you got to take, you know what I mean? It's dealing with getting your mind right. Once you get your mind right, then you can move. But it's not just dealing with individualism. You see what I'm saying? It's I and I. Or knowledge and what? Knowledge. So when you add the knowledge onto the knowledge, we get what?
Wisdom.
Exactly, you get wisdom. So wisdom is dealing with two. So we take it from a singular and make it what? We make it more than one. You know what I'm saying? Born is what? The infinite number. So born is dealing with the highest of supreme mathematics. That's the highest chamber we could take it, you know what I mean? And then you gotta what? Knowledge to cipher again, right? Before you get to the next chamber, which is what? The wisdoms. Or if you keep going, you get what? Knowledge. You add the knowledge and the knowledge, you get the what? The wisdom again. So, you know what I mean? We just gotta bring it all together.
Share how you got knowledge yourself for the people that don't even know you and how long you had it. Give us some history.
So basically, I got in tune with the gods, you know what I mean? Highly influenced through the Nation of Islam, but I mean just knowing the Nation of Islam through like Public Enemy, and you know getting activated, seeing like how the S1Ws was moving and all that, very militant. But not only that, I was like at some hip hop spots. So I first bumped into the gods at it was like a Wu-Tang concert, and I seen that the gods Raekwon, Ghostface, they brought these brothers on from Steel City, and they brought them on stage and said, yo, we want to introduce the gods from Canada. So I seen the gods get brought on stage, and they gave them ultimate respect, and they was down with the Wu-Tang, you know what I mean?
Who was those brothers respected?
So that was Asiatic and the gods from Steel City. BK and, you know, I'm sure it was like Master King, Knowledge Boy, a lot of these guys that was doing it back in the, I would say like the late 90s, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I got the building. I met Asiatic outside, and he was like the other yellow seat, and he was sparking me, you know what I mean? And then I met the guys later on because I went to Farrakhan's second official time visiting Canada, and Farrakhan was just out in the outskirts in the west of Toronto, down by the lakeshore somewhere, almost basically borderline Saga. So I was DJing out there with my crew, Jaminu, and it was my Latino brethren from Ecuador as well, and El Salvador. But we was like, we seen the gods again. We seen BK and Asiatic, and the gods, and they was rocking the universal flags. I knew it in hip hop, but I didn't really know what it was. I'm hearing the language, right? So they said, yeah, yo, this. We were like, how do you get those shirts with the 7 and the crescent on it? You know what I mean? They're like, you gotta show and prove 120 first, God. And on the back of the shirts it said what? Show and prove. So, you know, we was definitely attracted to that because that was catching our eye, and you know, just coming out of the golden era of hip hop from like I would say like the late 80s into the early 90s, we was highly influenced by the supreme, not only the alphabets, but the supreme mathematics was getting riddled all through hip hop, you know what I mean? So we was getting sparked already, and it's like we didn't even know. And so the brothers, they gave me mixtapes, they gave me the cards, and then later down the line, in the early 2000s, I ended up moving to Steel City, and I got a young moon out there for some time now, you know? And I remember the gods, and I remember they was out in Steel City, so I reached out to them. Actually, I went to a place called the Boom Spot, and a brother there, he was in tune with the gods, so he said, yo, yeah, I know Asiatic and BK and them, I'll tap you in. So he gave me their mathematics and started calling them, and then I didn't get knowledge right away. The brothers was kind of like feeling me out and stuff, you know what I mean? Because back then it wasn't like you could just jump in and you down, you know? You gotta you really gotta show and prove who you are. And the brothers, the way they did it is they put you under examination. You know what I mean? You gotta be examined. You gotta be examined first, because you could be a spy. You could be somebody like, really, why do you want to get knowledge yourself? Is the question they asked me. You know what I mean? So I had to show and prove even the why do you want to be God, or why do you want to get the knowledge? You know what I mean? And that time it was like, yo, I felt like I went through I was like one of the last of the Mohicans. Yeah. Because the way I got it wasn't easy. You know what I mean? the brothers had put me on my square a lot, and I had to really like study my lessons. And I was in my late 20s, so I was already a man. I had a youth, just like one of the guys was saying. You know what I mean? It wasn't easy. I was going to school, studying, doing the whole thing. You know what I mean? But one thing I could say is that I was definitely not only stuck to one educator. You know what I mean? But my enlightener, Born Truth, really put me through it, man. And he stuck. We went through a lot of hard times because he was actually younger than me, and that really is usually you should get an educator that's older than you. But because we bonded so well, he's the brown seed, I'm the yellow seed, so that's the wisdom and the understanding. You know what I mean? So I powered up and I stuck with the God. You know what I mean? And I built with other brothers too. He never sheltered me. He just kept me like this and just built with me. I was always building with all the other brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? In Steel City at the time, it was a good community. So I see it from that. Y'all is like the new era. So it's beautiful to see the cipher like this. You know what I mean? Y'all brothers, y'all gotta keep powering. Y'all, importantly, you gotta figure out the brotherhood and the sisterhood and keep that shit tight. You know what I mean? That's what's gonna keep this glue right here and show and prove Allah's world manifest. That's the most that I could say. Peace.
One more thing, before you build, because you're also the second yellow seed in this nation. Asiatic would be the first, you'd be the second. Build on the fact that you're a yellow seed and the significance of us uniting all the seeds.
See, so with studying knowledge itself, it's really important to study not only who you are, but where you come from. You know what I mean? Even physically. So the science says, me being a yellow seed, I'm the best part of the knowledge and the what? The wisdom. That's the black and the brown. Make the what? The understanding. The understanding is the yellow seed. If we want to talk about physically, you know what I mean? My name is Akin Understanding Allah. So I'm dealing with not just the mind, but I am actually the yellow seed. I manifested how I am supposed to be. You know what I mean? What part of stuff? Ask the question again.
Well, you being a yellow seed, being Asian, or whatnot, build on that in the culture. And how that, you know what I mean? How that experience was as a yellow seed within the culture.
And the importance, he said, and the importance
of that. Yeah, and the importance of those uniting seeds.
It's important because, most 85s, that means the majority of this world, they look at me, a seed like me, you know what I mean? A yellow seed, and don't think that I'm original. But me having knowledge of myself and my origins in this world, I know that I'm original, you know what I mean? Because when you study like ancient antiquity in China, we have this thing called the I Ching, where they was dealing with the oracle. Well, you know what they was doing in Africa around that time, approximately 3,000, 4,000 years ago? They was dealing with an oracle too. And they was dealing with like so much similar sciences, you know what I mean? If you study martial arts, like Kung Fu, you know what I'm saying? They say the origins is in China. But when you go deeper and you look in Egypt, and not only just Upper Egypt but Lower Egypt, they were studying the arts too. You know what I'm saying? It's just from an older time. But I know that our bloodlines connect, because that's why my name is Akin, because Akin also means kin, because I'm kinfolk. You know what I mean? I know that I'm original because of my bloodline, and I know that the unalike, or we would say the colored man or the cultural seed, didn't exist until after the yellow seed. You know what I mean? Because everything comes in stages. We talking about supreme mathematics. Well, mathematics doesn't lie. You know what I mean? We all here, we manifested from what? The original, the first, the source, the foundation is what? The black seed. That's the knowledge. That's why we say the black man is God. But the black man never changed. See, after the 600 years of grafting, see, they thought that Yaqub's world, like Yaqub's seed was existed when they seen the understanding seed. But the understanding seed wasn't it. The understanding seed is still original. Because the melanin inside is still dense, you know what I mean? It's just, that's why the understanding degree says, don't take nothing on face value. What you see on face surface ain't always what it is deep under. That's all I gotta say. Peace.
Peace. Yeah. I'm born to the law. Peace. Peace, 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 peace. Yes. Yeah, I've been here for a minute, right? Coming under Steel City, the piece with the magnetic, into Truth Cipher, which we call, the meeting place? What do they call this? The meeting place? Right? Where we all meet up. I was born in Scarborough. My firstborn brother that I got myself with Seesaw. He was born in this hood, so he's the firstborn in this hood, which is Bleakers. You know what I mean? He was here at the time when he shot. What movie did he shoot over here? They shot
Get Richard Coucher.
that one too, but I think the basketball one too was shot here. He was in it. Ray Island.
Yeah.
Ray Island got
He got game.
Yeah, it's in this hood, right? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Because Seesaw was up in there, you know what I mean? So that's the history, just to let you know. You know, his father was also one of the first black men to run for office in this region.
Did not know.
Today's Wisdom Born. Wisdom is dealing with how the development of something is going, the application of knowledge. Wisdom carries things, the weight. You know, so how something is developing is how a child is being born. How the knowledge is being born correctly to you. As you know, things have to go through stages. Knowledge to born, for things to grow correctly. So when you're dealing with today's mathematics, we're dealing with detail. You know, the detail of the growth and development of oneself. Also, we're dealing with the sciences of where we live, the growth and development of our environment. You know, and in this urban environments, we're all being plagued by the same thing. You know, lack of self-love that's causing others to kill one another, not knowing their worth, who they are really born to be. You know, so they're being what they're not knowing who they really is. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we're striving to get, you know, our kingdom back in order. You know, kingdom being, the root word being king. And to be a king, that just means one having knowledge in God. You see what I'm saying? So if you have the knowledge in God, that means you're going to be able to cap your dome. And the thing about a king, it's not about him being on a pedestal and praised and whatnot. It's his works that makes him revered. You know, so the people talk about him before the king even comes. You see what I'm saying? This is about the determination. I heard one brother was talking about in the beginning, he was talking about why you want to get knowledge of self. But when I was growing up getting knowledge of self, my shit was like this movie you watch called what? Higher Learning. I grew up in a small city that was highly, really racist. Like when I'm talking about racist, I'm talking about like Confederate flags, original kids getting beat, you know, sisters going to school getting like they killed to yanked, you know, fighting different nationalities because sisters like original brothers. Like school wasn't normal school for me. You know, I was the first 5% to take the knowledge of self into the school system. I got myself in 95 as a youth. You know what I mean? So I was dealing with worlds. You know, a lot of brothers, man, when I look at God's men, they were like superheroes. Like these men were like no other men, and women were like no other people I've seen around here because self-love and organization, the glow, what knowledge of self does to you. You know, when you start to analyze and start to love yourself, because back then no one was teaching you how to love yourself. It's just about self-hate. You know, so it was hard for you to get a proper grasp of what this is about, or even why you were here. You know, why you got the messed up part of the stick. You know what I mean? And then once you start to understand what's going on, that you're the fuel power of how this is being developed, meaning how the rhythm of how this is moving is controlled of what you put your output to be. You know what I mean? I had to center myself. You know, when I got into knowledge of self, I was blessed because back then in my region we had a thing called the BYA, which is called the Black Youth Achievement Center. At that time, Born King's Virgin, Knowledge Born's mother, she opened this achievement center and was one of the only ones in our community. And it was like an old school she had bought. And you could go there for summer camp so you can enjoy being around other original kids and shit like that. You know what I mean? And that's what we used to go there. I used to go there for arithmetic, to learn math, right? But in the next room was the guys, right? And I was like, damn. I'm there going, they said to me because I'm messing up my math, all my arithmetic, I'm sucking at this shit, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, go there and get this tutoring. I'm passing the tutoring class, I'm going to go, I hear these guards billing in there. You know what I'm saying? Boy, all these guys, the guard got his own classroom. And that's when I got the first spark. They called me Shorty Truth. I was tall like him, but I was young. You know what I mean? So they called me Shorty Truth because I was always acting older than my age because all these men were bigger than me, big man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a liquor man. Go get a blunt, like I'm a liquor man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, You see what I'm saying? But I'm observing all these men. That's what I'm saying, like superhero that all can do stuff. I mean, yellow sees that no kung fu that can do inch punches and make doors fly open, shit like that. I'm seeing it real time. You know what I mean? Like this is real talk. I'm seeing men of all different nationalities, the magnet of the gods, the strength of the math, what they were giving us, the supreme mathematics was born in and paving and forging a way for us. And it can forge a way for you too. When it was what really, I got to add on to things about the severity of really holding yourself accountable, like the brother said, and getting this shit capped up for your community. But they're trying to kill it, the community. They want you to hate each other and make everybody turn on each other. And put you in the six, which is the sleeper. And then what they got planned for us is what? To bring back old time style, which is slavery. Because we all just killing each other. We can't go in public, we're shooting up everything. So they're then going to make them put in legislations to put us back in a certain type of bondage. And his freedom going to be taken. So this is why we got to stand up and really kind of organize ourselves kind of differently. You know, at this time. And like, you know, think about it. You know, we got, as he was saying, it's not about me. It's about hearing what you guys want us to do, more or less. Because how I was kicking at a certain time was a different type of playing field I had to go through. I was telling you watching more high level, you had to fight. You know, and we had to go through me coming from a Caribbean, yo, you want to be a Muslim, and all them type of stuff, and you know, all this type of stuff, like, you know, I had to go through, you know, like you talking about church, you know what I mean? They think you like you deviated, you know, you blasphemy and all this stuff. You telling them about Leviticus and all the pork and all that, and they still consuming it. You know, I'm dashing out, you know, out the fridge and shit, getting, you know what I mean? Part of my language. Yo, I'm just telling you, man, this is real. You gotta have tough skin. And there's no reward without pain. If you don't go through the pain of not something, you won't get to God more. You gotta go through the little, just like as you can buy, you gotta go through a little resistance to get through to the next stages. And that's what knowledge itself is about. It's like when you talk about the ancestors and all this shit, supreme mathematics, the laws, it's like it's not nothing mystical, but it does have a compass on it where like once you come in compass with it and you're moving with it, it's like turning over things for you to analyze, to see what you're gonna play, what card you gonna play now. And you got all the cards, because the law gives us the basis of supreme mathematics to win them all. All we gotta do is, like you said, yeah, we gotta come together, but we gotta deal with understanding that each one of us has a unique part to play in the whole to make it one. Can't do this alone. You know what I'm saying? That's why unification has to be brought together to be born. You know, and with that, I brought you to all different type of brothers born truth. That's how I do it. Love y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Peace,
I ask you this though, I used to use today's math and also bring everything respectful.
Okay, today's math, I thought I gave you different words of it, but I can give you another one. Well, wisdom born, right? It's the, as I said, it's not to speak, but you got to born. You're not knowledge born, right? You got knowledge born and you got wisdom born. And you got understanding born, but is it about speaking? That's why it says about the development, the stages of how it comes about without speaking. Because things can be born without even through ways in action. And a lot of time, a lot of us as 5%, you lose out trying to tell this population you God right away and this, that right away. You know, the way you got to manifest this is in the way you got to kind of be a psychologist. I be telling you, I'm the dumb one. You teach me. You know, I don't know my lesson. I don't know my lesson. You read it for me. Because in this day and time, you gotta. The people need love, so you gotta be the vessel. You gotta be the sacrificial lamb to make this happen. So that's what it is. How the development is being switched and interchangeable. I can come this way, that way, that way. I'm coming every which way. That's why I don't really fight and fuss about who got lesson like this. I want to know them all. These guys talking about lessons. When we were coming up in this, we were like, inspector. We were like, who's coming down here? Walker's like, Power Born. So, what degree they got different one for? Okay. So we all knew what it was. Because it meant you're going to expand your what? Mind. The mind is meant to be expanded. Without expansion, no growth. Me, I'm a agriculture on the side. So I water my whole city. I make my whole city grow. Oh yeah, this is it. I'm out there making it grow. I'm the waterman, the wisdom seed, right? You know what I mean? So I grow the whole of my city, me. I ain't top and bottom. I was so wavy this year. These guys was treating, the color man was treating me weird. I applied for the top guys. So I did the whole city. Meaning I did the top and I did the bottom. 2 different jobs, they both want me. Why? Because everywhere I go, I'm God. I'm a door dasher. I'm what? Platinum. It just works out like that because I stay the course. And just like the brother said, not yourself, it's about those who can endure. You'll be tested. Yo, don't worry what they got to say. It's about what you got to see, what they got, what your vision's got to see, what's got to be revealed for you. What is for you is for you. It's for you. My name is Born Chip because I'm born with what? That light. I'm born with that light. That light that was given to me by the King. You know, to shine north, east, west, and south on this bitch when I was a little boy.
In the name of El Supreme Allah, and El stands for eternal life. Eternal means to be everlasting. Where I have no beginning or ending. And life means that I'll always be known and remembered and live on through my knowledge and through my seed, my children. Right? Supreme. And I mean, I was born physically complete. I was also born mentally complete. And supreme mathematics is supreme life bitch, which is why I have the name Supreme. So I just put the EL together, eternal life, and he just called me El Supreme. To simply put it, you know, you can say that I'm intelligent, upright, knowledgeable, and wise, to where I'm able to bring forth an understanding and help bring the best out of those who are unable to bring the best out of themselves, and also strive to be the best that I can be as I am made on heaven, which is immeasurable. Right? Today's mathematics is wisdom born. How I see that as, when it comes to wisdom, you know what I mean? You can see it as one's ways in action, right? Just try to do this a little short. I don't want to make this too long, right? But through one's ways in action, right? It's how one carries and presents themselves, right? So through that, through their ways in actions, you see an influence, right? Because it creates that attraction for others to see. So there's that influence, right? Born is what we bring into existence. You know what I mean? It's what you make known in the realm of reality. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I don't want to go too far, but there's a lesson, right, in the one before you, Wisdom Born with me, right? And it asks, tell us why Yaqub was successful in all his undertakings. Little cameraman. Answer because the people and his followers obey his laws. Now, I just want to stop there.
You know, I want you to come to the cipher before today's math, you know what I mean? So you know, after him, it's just like, you get the camera, today's math, Wisdom Born, the blood store from Africa, how you know what I mean? Talking about you went to Mecca, law school.
Social media, right? How they conduct or carry themselves. And that has a big influence on young youths. Because a lot of these challenges, and not just challenges, a lot of the street activity that we be seeing, that's what's catching the influence of the young youths for them to repeat that same cycle. You understand what I'm saying? But we, the gods, are supposed to have a bigger influence, you know what I mean, through our wise ways and actions. You know what I mean? So that we can bring forth more life instead of all, you know, the mental death that we see. You know what I'm saying? So how I see that is what I'm saying is that we being the bigger influence and born in life, that means that we gotta be out there and really we gotta be teaching. You know what I mean? We gotta really be out there. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, we gotta really be amongst them. You know what I mean? Be at their level. You know what I mean? Speak in their language. Do what they like to do in order to draw them up out of what they're dealing with. You know what I mean? Where they're not living the best life that they can be living, but when we can give them that knowledge, we can give them a better direction. You know what I'm saying? But again, we still have to be the ones who can influence. It's not so much of what we say, it's more so what we do. You You know what I'm saying? Because even when it comes to, like, I got nephews too, and they, you know how it is, especially as young boys. Like, yeah, you know, you hear a lot of talk from family. Yeah, you want to get back out there and be amongst the men. I mean, you want to do what we're doing. You know what I mean? But we'll always look to a one OG or a one big man, and like what he's on, we like that, and we gravitate to him. So we gotta be that big man to these little youths want to gravitate to. We gotta be the good things. You know what I'm saying? And
My name is Positive Almighty. I got knowledge in 2017. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
I know you got it. You say
Peace. Hard as hell, God. Peace. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. My young God lives out here. He turned 2 on the Wisdom of God Day. So around this time every year, I'm either going to be out here or he's going to be in Brooklyn. What attracted me to the knowledge was first having global studies in high school, learning about all these different geographical locations and religions, and then seeing like, wait, all these religions exist. Who's to say who's right or wrong? You know what I mean? So I started researching things for myself. Then I came up with amongst all these different words that express that man is God. So like I'm like 19. I got like Alpha Omega, Tade, Nirvana, Heaven on Earth, Namaste, the God in you, recognize it. So I'm like, okay. Then somebody brought up J Electronica. So this person I was doing at the time, she was like, oh, you ever heard Exhibit C? I heard Exhibit C, and I'm like, wait, 5%ers? I'm like, what's that? So I go, wait, I'm like, there's a people who teach the science that I already drew up in my head. So I'm like, all right, cool, but we all talked about it takes time. You know what I mean? You have to go through certain trials and tribulations. 2017, I got the book, Knowledge Yourself, read it, immediately called up to school. When I called up to school, the guy, I asked about class at the school, the guy, Infinite Al-Jamar, said, where you live? I said, Brooklyn. He said, see you at my house tomorrow. You know? And that was that. Today's mathematics is wisdom born. Wisdom is the application of knowledge and experience to make the right decisions. The quality of having good judgment. Born means to bring into existence or make complete. So I see today's mathematics as having motion, but using your motion to teach civilization and righteousness. Because the unrighteous have motion as well. So actually being in motion and using that motion to bring in civilization and righteousness, like what we're doing right now. Everybody had to move to get here. Even if you look up, we say things could be born dead or born alive. Alive means in a state of existence, in a constant state of motion, or it also means active and thriving. So anything that's not in motion is dead. You know? So it goes back to why we have the physical form, right? Is born through our parents, and then also nutrients and getting the right nourishment, but it's each person's responsibility to born themselves alive. You know what I mean? And only life can give life to life. And so within that, if I have motion, I'm using that to give life to people, it's going to continue. It's going to make an impact on the people, places, and things. So that first you have to make wisdom born to your what? Self. You know what I mean? Teach yourself civilization and righteousness. Then family. When I mean family, I don't mean just blood. I mean like family and friends. Then community, doing things to the community. Then, and through doing all those things, you're affecting the world on a larger scale. And everybody said such beautiful things. I wanted to add on. I can't remember everything, but I remember what he said in sense of wisdom. A lot of people said in different ways. It's not just, well, we say light travels faster than sound. So people are going to take more heed to what you say, what you're doing, than what you're saying. Just like he said, he heard people talking it, but he didn't see nothing getting brought in existence. So that at that point, that could repel them, like, they're not really about what they're about. Now the wisdom is born right here. He can have an understanding of the cipher that's going on right now. Mathematics is always in constant state and emotion. So once your wisdom is born alive, the understanding is going to add a what? Cipher. So you talked about the science of adding on, continuously adding on. Everything exists in constant state in motion. With mathematics, it's just addition and multiplication, because like the universe is ever expanding. So with that, if we're in tune with mathematics, we also always have to be growing, developing, adding something on, adding something on, adding something on. And just, I didn't even say what I was saying. People don't care about what you know until they know that you care. So if you come talking this black man is God and all these different sciences, that could come off as more egotistical. If somebody 11 and 12, yo bro, you ate today? Or what's your favorite rapper? Yo, you play ball? What's your grades looking like? You know what I'm saying? Yo, come to me. We're gonna take a walk down the block. You know what I mean? How you doing? How they do with the fam? Oh, my family having the barbecue. You come. You know what I'm saying? And just going back, then they could be like, okay. Then the more they get to know you, they're gonna know about. They like, yo, what makes him like that?
Right.
Yo, I see what the flag. I see what that. I see what that's what you say, please. What's that? That's the wisdom is gonna be what? Boom. You know, there's some things, and then it goes back to the science of what, like I said, what he said. Adding all people living it out. Then you said people they wasn't living it out. Me and the God built on the way here. And almost everything we built about in the car, just having regular conversation, people brought up having humility, added on, being in a constant state of motion, all of those things. And one thing I want to say is just mathematics is just reality. Sometimes we try to make this something hard. It's just reality, bro. And when I say just reality, I'm not trying to belittle reality, but it's living in accordance with everything. So we talk about in the degrees that talks about separation and stuff like that, right? People talk about the uniting of the seeds. Black, brown, yeah, there's 4 seeds, 6 human families, right? However, everything original is what? Original means the origin of all, the earliest or from the beginning. So we know the origin of all is what? Allah, the original man with proper knowledge of himself. So we all still family, regardless of what seed or human family that you come in. What is man other than what? Man. You know what I'm saying? So even with the united seeds, even because people brought up seeds, we have black, brown, yellow, and white. However, that's a physical thing, right? If I could be with anyone, and I could be with Just Rule, right? Let me see somebody different complexion. I could be with the God of Ken, right? And then in that situation, I may be the understanding seed, because like I'm bringing the understanding, he's manifesting the knowledge of wisdom. And then on the flag, you have the black and the gold. The gold is the last of the brown, and the lightest of the yellow. The other side is the black. But we all have supreme. If we really have knowledge of ourselves, we all have supreme knowledge, wisdom, understanding of ourselves. You know what I mean? But yeah. That's what I'm saying. But we also, foundation makes the same, but we also always supposed to be swift and what? Changeable, because mathematics has no beginning or end.
But I want to introduce him. And if we could, I just want y'all to speak some love and power into my brother.
Peace.
I know he's been listening to what y'all been talking about. But it's like my brother, man.
Okay. Peace, brother.
Peace. Young chap.
Aiden, what's up?
Good wall. You can call me boy. I just turned 17.
That's peace. Has he ever told you about the knowledge? Has he exposed you to the knowledge, like why we here, what we doing?
I've just been listening, like, to about you guys talking about, like wisdom, knowledge, and like.
How you feel? How you take that in?
I feel like there's a lot of meaning behind the words. And what you guys say, and there's a lot of stories that through every different person. You know, it's more like entertaining which each person says. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you could take from today that you could take with you that you learned from everybody's experience that you think that kind of like, sit with you?
There's a
Word,
lot.
peace.
Yo, you a power forward?
Small forward.
Small forward? Okay, you got the Carmela Hezzy? Okay.
Yeah, but honestly, true family. The reason why I call him, he's not my bro, but he's a powerful source in the end. And he's young too, And I know it's like when we're young, sometimes the youth, they don't know how powerful they are, you know what I'm saying? So I don't be talking with them about mathematics, but I talk to them about mathematics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the sauce.
That's it, right? That's his life, right? So I just brought him here to show you, like, these are my brothers. Same way, fam, So
that's peace.
So
You said your name is Aiden? Hey, peace. My name is Warren King, man. Yeah, man, definitely, like, you're a young brother, you know what I mean? I can tell that, you're intelligent. Just keep building, man. Don't let nobody take you off your path. What you want to do? Like, what's your vision and what you want to do? You got certain goals?
Definitely want to continue like a ball game.
Right. Well, definitely educate yourself. Knowledge is the foundation, right? So playing ball is peace, but if you break a leg, ball game's over. You know what I mean? So you gotta make sure that you have the knowledge first, and you have a foundation, something to fall back on. You know what I mean? So get yourself a skill, get yourself a trade, you know what I mean? Get yourself something that you can always fall back on. So definitely do the knowledge. And being around good brothers like Marley will definitely help you, you know what I mean? I appreciate you even bringing a young brother by, you know what I mean? But yeah, definitely break bread with us. We here, you know, we here for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I know some brothers got some wisdom for you too.
Yo, I'm just saying, if you're gonna do the bar on another angle, you're gonna do just know what it's gonna involve. Like you talk about development, the way you develop is gonna be discipline. You're gonna have to use a lot of dedication and discipline. You can do it, but you're only gonna get what you put in. What you put in is what you're gonna get out. So if you want to do it, just know what it involves. You know what I mean? You know you gotta stand strong and know yourself, because when you go to another region playing ball, you gotta compete for us over there, and they don't want that. Somebody else wants your spot. So that's why you gotta be strong yourself to supersede. But you can do that. You know what I mean? But that's a positive thing what you're doing. Whatever you want to do, you got it. Just put your mind to it. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, you 17. All lessons, that's knowledge, God.
Peace.
Yo, sorry.
No.
Go ahead, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I just wanted to show you that you got to see God within yourself. You know, God is good for the direction. When we say God, we're not talking about a mystery God. We're talking about the supreme being. So we want you to be the best person, or the best actual physical reality of yourself. You know what I mean? So if it's training every day, you know what I mean, shooting every day, that's you being supreme, being a supreme being, being the most high, being the best version of yourself. It takes practice, dedication, commitment, all these things. If you say you want a ball, then do it to the fullest. Don't half-step it. You know what I'm saying? Put your all into it. That's what being God is. See what I'm saying? So if you say you're 17, you see that as knowledge God, that means that you must see that within yourself. You must see that there's no limitation within yourself, and you can do anything as long as you put your mind to it. You see what I'm saying? Don't let nobody put no limitation against you. You want to do something, you go out and you do it. You know what I'm saying? That's what being God is about.
You know, when it comes to original culture, black culture, African culture, however you want to frame it, there's been a lot of distortions, you know what I mean? There's been interruptions in our timeline. You know what I mean? Our history has even been whitewashed a lot of the time, right? So the knowledge of self piece was very intriguing for me to discover that and to know that God is within me. I am God, a reflection. And as we're building, I was recently in a few countries in Africa. I was in South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe earlier this year. And a theme that kept coming up is a word called Ubuntu. Right? Ubuntu is a South African word, which means I am because we are. And that was something that was a big theme when I was in Africa, just looking at faces, seeing people, and recognizing that, even though I'm out here in Toronto, I mean, if I were to just take these people from South Africa and bring them here, it would just look like what I'm looking at right now. You know what I mean? So it was just one of those reminders that there isn't that separation as much as the colonizers or whoever you want to frame and try to throw us off. That tether that connects us has always been there. And this cipher to me is that remembrance. You know what I mean? It's that reminder of that. You know what I mean? So man. So with that, I say peace.
Peace.
Your age and your name. This one.
You got a movie.
You got this, man.
You got it, bro.
Yeah.
Hold on again, Isaiah. Come again. Pause.
Go to school? What'd you like to do?
I like to play soccer, and one day I would like to do it.
You know what your name means?
No, I just know it's in the Bible.
Okay, that was going to be my second question. Right, you know it comes from the Bible, that's good.
You know that you're the most dominant amongst us right here? You're the source of all of us. Everybody here come from you.
Yeah.
You're the black.
Yeah.
Because you the first. So you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do.
Peace.
I know you're gonna do it. The best.
You got any questions? I know you've been kind of listening. Is there certain things you didn't understand? Maybe something you want more clarity on? Because I know you've been listening.
Is there something that you learned here today that you didn't know before? It could be anything. You don't have to think too much about it. What things stood out to you the most?
The names, and the definitions.
That's peace.
So now, you know, when you go back home, you gotta figure out
Your name. Your definition of your name. Yeah, peace to the gods, man. Peace to the earth. I want us to get into degrees since we just went through all the foundation and everything like that. A couple of things I want to kind of just touch on. Us being more unified as a family, you know. A lot of us are really scattered. A lot of us have, you know, personal things. I want us to kind of just put those things to a side, and mathematics is supposed to unify us as one. You know what I mean? Even the young God Marley, you know what I mean? Sometimes, not to single you out, God, but I know
go ahead,
sometimes he's saying that he's the only one. And what it is with sometimes of the brothers, I know as younger gods, we're supposed to reach out to the older gods. Hit up the older gods. When I was younger, I would hit them up. Yo, peace, God. What you doing? Go. You know, want to go through some lessons with me? This, that, and the third. And that's what we did. You know what I mean? The older gods are not the ones that are supposed to be running you down because they got this already. And if you want it, you're supposed to go to them.
And we're
See what I'm saying?
obligated to give it to you.
Yeah, and the brothers are obligated to give it to you, but they want to make sure that you really want it. You see what I'm saying? But the problem is sometimes brothers have a pride, or they don't want to reach out, or they get caught up in different things, and then it causes this like division, because then certain brothers is just like, okay, this brother ain't serious. He ain't trying to hit me up. You know what I mean? He ain't trying to build with me. You know, so we have brothers that are just isolated, and we're supposed to be a family. We're supposed to be a unified body, and sometimes we're not doing that. We're not saying what we're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Born is a collective. When something is born, it's together, right? So, you know, so just to add on, that was kind of the thing that I wanted to touch on, you know, with the Master True Love Cipher in Montreal, is that our tree comes through that, and that was the whole purpose of me going out there and building. So having the brothers come now and manifest Day 120 and be able to build, you know, we're gonna have a separate cipher for the brothers to kind of go through their lessons with the 120 gods and show and prove. It's monumental on this day, because today's the show and prove month, right? You know what I'm saying? The law went back to the essence when? June 13th?
June 13,
1969. You know what I'm saying? And every June we have our national show and prove, to show and prove that Allah still lives, because Allah lives within all of us. You know what I'm saying? We're all the testament of Allah's teachings. The brothers come in 5 hours from Montreal. The brothers come in an hour, you know, from Steel City, you know what I mean? And the brothers here from Toronto and Truth Cipher, and my brother also coming from Cipher Truth Divine Intelligence, you know what I mean? Brothers are going through it in their cipher, but they took it upon themselves to come here today because of Allah's mathematics and these teachings. That's what it's all about. Supreme mathematics makes all minds one, and we're here because of Allah's mathematics. You see what I'm saying? So that's the wisdom that is being born today, you know, that I'm sharing with all of y'all. And what is today's degree? You know, for those that have 120, is what? Tell us why what? Yaqub was so successful in all of his undertakings. That is today's degree, right? For those that have that degree. But we're not talking about Yaqub. We want to talk about ourselves. We put ourselves in the lesson. So what must we do to be so successful in all of our undertakings or overtakings, right? It says what? Because the people that was his followers obeyed what? His laws.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everything he said, they did it.
And what's in brackets? For every what?
For every law that they broke.
All right then.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand that we have to go according to a law. Universal law. The universal law is mathematics. Right? Once you go disaccording to the law, then you understand that the penalty is death. Okay? The penalty is death. And we're not talking about a physical death, we're talking about a mental death. And how many people we've seen die? So many. Because these brothers are no longer here. Only the brothers you see here are the ones that are here now, that are living. That's why we talk about the true and living. There are so many brothers that are not here. No disrespect to the brothers that are still living their life, living mathematics, doing whatever they gotta do. You know what I'm saying? But there are certain brothers that they lost the knowledge of themselves. They don't have the knowledge anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like the lesson says, they were savages, right? A savage is a person that is what? Living themselves. And is living a beast way of life. Right? So certain people that said, yeah, I used to be God. Yeah, I used to be with the 5%ers. No longer. Wow. You know what I'm saying? You're searching for something outside of yourself now. Right? So we only want the people that are going to be committed to this. I'm going to be God regardless if none of y'all want to be God. I'm going to still build. I'm going to still add on regardless, and I'm going to build with the builders. Those that want to build, those that want to add on, those are my airlights. Those that don't want to add on, those are my underlights. I don't care about the underlights, right? I don't care about the poor part. I preserve the best part for myself ever since I made it. You see what I'm saying? So this is what we're talking about when we want to make our wisdom born. Bring it born together. Let's bring it together. Put your mouth and put your word where your mouth is and make it born. Make it into fruition. Make it a reality. Don't just talk about it, be about it. You know what I'm saying? If you say you're the God, then show them proof. That's what wisdom born means. Show them proof that you're the God. God ain't just be like, oh, I'm just God so I can beat my chest. You're supposed to be doing God's work. You know what I'm saying? If you're in your community and people don't know that you're there, then you're a mystery God. Because if you're the true living God, people must know that you are in the community. You should be helping the youth, helping the old lady open the door, helping the old lady with her bags. This is God's work. This is what we talk about when we talk about wisdom born. You see what I'm saying? A lot of y'all don't know about etiquette either. Right. There is an etiquette, God etiquette. Some brothers don't even have that. You see what I'm saying? Just because we don't have refinement in our mathematics, don't mean we don't deal with refinement. Remember, the culture is refined, right? Refinement is a form of etiquette. How you carry yourself. You know what I'm saying? How you eat. How you wash up. You see what I'm saying? And calling your brother and building with your air like it's a form of etiquette. You know what I'm saying? If I go into a community and I know that there's gods there, I'm supposed to reach out to those gods and build with them. You know what I'm saying? If I go abroad and I come to meet my educator or whatnot, I'm supposed to bring a gift for that God, for that educator. You see what I'm saying? There's certain etiquettes that I grew up with that I tried to instill in some of my brothers, because that's how I was raised. You see what I'm saying? So I just want y'all brothers to understand that I want to start having more of these, because I think this is what we have to do to bring brothers back together, is just come and express ourselves and just make our wisdom born so we can actually see. Because sometimes we don't get to see it because we're not in each other's faces.
Young black man, I'm in Canada. We come from a history of slavery, and now there's white supremacy, and this is the reality of the world that we live in. It would be stupid for me to think that these guys are going to tell me the true history about myself. And then I'll always wonder, like, if black people are the first people on the planet, when I look at the textbooks, it always starts with like a European, like a small footnote. So I'm starting to have these questions, and these questions are leading to grander realizations. I had conversations with my father as well, and my father would ask me certain things and mention things about the reality of God. So the first time I heard like the black man is God, and that type of build, it actually came from my father. So by the time that there's the hip hop I'm listening to, I'm hearing certain things, the brain is a pattern building organism. So by the time I'm in high school now, there's things I'm hearing in hip hop, there's things that I've heard growing up in life through like my father, and there's questions that I have, and it started to lead to this point where I started to search because I knew that they weren't going to be given towards me. So that just led me to starting to go throughout history. I would look at the subject matter, math, science, and I'm like, okay, let me try to look for the oldest perspectives. And that just led me towards like different sciences from what I would later learn is just different sciences that were formulated by the original people. So long story short, I started going through the different sciences and learned about Kemet and then Taoism, that was a very mathematical science. And long story short, by the time I got to the 5% now, because again, it's always there because like in hip hop, it's there. It's been there, right? So I was already aware of it. So by the time I got to the 5% now, and I'm already realizing certain things that certain truth and fundamental realities. So I'm also like doing music and involved in hip hop myself. So long story short, these things just came to a beautiful marriage point where I was like, well, these are the type of things that I'm interested in. And then, based on my understanding of certain ancient systems, I was able to see that, there is a parallel between like certain fundamental principles in supreme mathematics and a lot of the ancient older systems that we were dealing with. It's like, this is like a modern version that's for us more now. So I was like, okay, that's peace. And I had already started to start rapping about certain things. So I was like, what? I'm gonna be like putting these things out there. I just wanted to have a right and exact, a strong foundation, right? Because I realized that like through my studies, I'm like, I'm a young black man. The goal is to understand thousands of years of history and all of this. And I'm like, I'm not the only one. Like, there's scholars that wrote books about this before I was here. It's like I was like plugging into a struggle that already existed type of thing, right? So long story short, I just plugged myself in because I realized in these day and times, that was my place to be as someone that's dealing with knowledge. So that was what led me into wanting to undertake the path of going through the lessons. And then from there, the journey began, and we are here. So that is the short summarized version of my early life, and that what led me to becoming a 5%. Peace.
Peace, God. Can you break down your righteous name?
My righteous name is I Power Allah. So I is a self, black man of knowledge himself. Power is energy. When you come to the realization of who you are, you realize that we call ourselves the supreme being because being means to exist. We are energy, and we are the highest form of energy. The greatest pattern of energy is like moving through space-time in a sense, So with that being said, I realized that I am the ultimate pattern and manifestation of energy, which is Allah. So I saw that for myself. And originally my name was Power I because I had drew it up to that point. And then when I was building with one of the older gods, born everlasting, and I broke down my name for him, and I said Pi, Power I, because I love math, so I was like, I wanted my name to be a formula. So Pi, which is the 16th letter of the Greek alphabet, is also the formula for how you understand the circumference of a circle.
True, indeed.
Right? So Pi is the key to the cipher in essence, and man is the key to the cipher. So I was the key to the cipher. So I drew it up like that, and then the God was like, yes, that's right, exactly, that's peace, but I comes first. Because the power comes out of I. You know what I mean? So I was like, I drew it up to Power I because I was like, I want it to be a mathematical symbol. Because man is a mathematical symbol. Pi is a symbol. It's also the 16th letter. And power is the 16th letter of the alphabet. Right? So I wanted it to be like a mathematical symbol that's very like simple, but at the same time deep and profound because it relates to all phenomena in a sense. So it was Pi, but then I flipped it because at the end of the day, I is the self. And then it's like the sun. And what we see is energy, which is the power that comes out of the sun. Right. But I am the sun, and then the power is that which I let off.
Power comes from the eye.
Exactly, right? And that's what makes me Allah. So, in simple and short, that's what it is. I am the highest form of energy, which is Allah. Peace.
Anything you want to share with the God? Blessings is one of your favorite degrees.
Okay, when I was hearing Brother Dylan in my head, and then when you were like, knowledge, and he said knowledge God degree, and you're like, oh, that degree is short now. I was like, it's a powerful degree, right? So I was like, because in my head the whole time I was thinking, I was like, I'm gonna say the knowledge degree, and someone's gonna talk shit, be like, oh, God's the early degree. But also, while I was also there, aside from that, because at the end of the day, it is the knowledge degree. That is like my favorite degree, because it's like. That's who we are. That's who we are. Who is the original man? And then it says man, but then God is in the anxious. So it's like man is God. So it's like just be a man. And then here's are certain things. It's like demystifies it. It's like, who's the original man? Man. Like, just be a man. But aside from that, I had come to a realization one time in my life, and it was a deep understanding. And it came off of understanding God degree in the 140. Which is tell us what the devil teaches the 85%, that the God is a righteous and unseen being that exists everywhere. Allah is the God in the heavens, and God is Allah is the God in the earth and in the heavens above. He is just and true. There's no unrighteousness in him, for he is not unseen but is seen and heard everywhere for you, all I seeing. So the deep part about that degree for me is that at the end of the day, it's very simple. It's like for people to get an understanding of God, God just needs to be seen and heard. So it's just like for people to see and understand God, God just needs to be seen and heard. So it just means just go out there and do your thing, and then that's the best way for people to get an understanding of God. Because at the end of the day, you can do this, you can do that, you can talk, but people are always drawn up to understanding. That's right. And God is the highest elevation of mind. So people is like they want the understanding of God, but the best way you can even give it to them is to be seen and heard, because that's the reason why. And on a practical level, it's like if there was like in the hoods of Toronto right now, if there was like 5, 10 solid GODs in every hood, that would the God would be seen and heard. So it's like it would be that much easier for brothers to actually get an understanding of God. So it's like when you look at that degree, it tells you what's one of the main issues of what's going on right now. Because it's like brothers just aren't being seen and heard. So it's like I look at that and it's like that's why I make it a duty to like. In what I was doing, I put knowledge, wisdom, understanding out there, because it's like, yo, once it's seen and heard, like that just creates the connection for somebody to like walk across the bridge. Like, so wisdom is the bridge. So it's like, through my wisdom, I'm just creating a bridge that's gonna allow people to walk across and come to get an understanding of God. Because it's like, there's no bridge. Niggas is gonna find, he's gonna find the best, like you were talking about the best part. If all you know is this land, it's like, I'm gonna just find the best part on my ends and just do me over here. It's like, I don't even know. Part of stuff I seen a drone. I'm like, what the hell? Devil is strong. But yeah, so part of stuff. Yeah, so long story short, I said the understanding God degree, and to wrap it up, it's just because there's a very practicalness to it with the whole seen and heard, and then the fact that that's the understanding God degree, because at the end of the day, we just gotta be seen and heard, and that is one of the most strongest things. Because it's not a mystery thing, and when you're seen and heard, and people like see you out here doing your thing, it takes away the mystery. It's like, it's like, yo, you see the God, like, So that's why that degree is very important. Peace.
Peace, yo. And just to add on, you said the devil is strong. The devil is weak and wicked. You know what I'm saying?
What does weak and wicked mean?
Oh shit.
Well, weak basically means that you don't have strength. You know what I'm saying?
What does wicked mean?
And wicked means like you want to do bad onto others. That's how I see it.
That's peace, right? Now, not to add on, let me add on. So I love the truth, and I sincerely love a lot of mathematics. Mathematics is real, so it's not a religious thing for me. So it's like everything is practical. So with that being said, it's like you can't say that when Hiroshima exists. Like strength, like the devil can show strength. But at the end of the day, there's different forms and variations of strength, right? So there's forceful strength. There's a brute force, which is still force, which is energy, which is power. But at the same time, there's the mind. So it's like we don't have the power to strength to go at the devil with arms. That's why Allah was like, yo, when you protest, go in the street, doing that, that's the third. That's not how we should show our strength, even though that's a certain form of strength. So with that being said, it's like, you don't want to be too, and make it like that's an axiom, like this is a fundamental truth. Because then the devil might do something strong, you wouldn't expect it. He'll hit you with that right hook, you're like, damn, I thought that nigga was weak. It's like, bro, no. It's like Sun Tzu, Art of War. You have to know the strengths and weaknesses of your enemy to overcome him. If you don't know his strengths and you think, oh, he ain't strong, he's gonna bust your ass because he's more strong than you could ever imagine. And that's what's happening to us right now. But not to get on you, I'm just saying, like, the devil definitely has strength and definitely strong.
That's why he's
whipping our ass right now.
I just want to add on and make a bridge between both understandings right here. Is that the understanding build the destroy degree, right? It's like the only strength that the devil got is the power we gave him, man. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, he right and you right as well, man. You know what I'm saying? And that go back to the understanding God degree, because you know, say you're supposed to be the all I see. I'm supposed to see your understanding, his understanding, everybody's understanding. That's the understanding God degree. You know what I'm saying? Peace.
Yeah, I see it both ways.
The devil ain't shit without us, right?
100%.
Because he blood sucks us.
Just to add up to what the brother was saying, talking about the 5 solid gods in every hood, right? See, that can also be achieved as well in what type of outlets we're dealing with. It's a time for us in Canada, right? In Canada specifically, to get help from our family in America, right? Because the family in America depicts a lot of the time, not the God family, the families in America are controlling the youth out here.
Right.
This brother, if he goes around here, a lot of youths are gonna be like, yo, he's from America. They're gonna be like this, that, and the third. You're gonna have natural magnetic. So we need our family from abroad to show who are the main GODs out here, you know, even in the music out here, so that the youth can get the magnetic to know that these guys are the guys like us out here too as well, to help us with the magnetic ability. Just to add on what he's saying, it's like a lot of times we be running down a lot of time America, and America be getting a lot of money from us. A lot of our children, we put a lot of their careers, we're giving them pair monies. Canadians are the number one.
Giving them, that's what
You know
I'm
what I'm
saying. We
saying?
don't want giving them the power.
We're giving them
man.
all the power.
Yeah.
We're saying that only they got the OGs, only they got the gas. So our children looking at us like, what do we got? We're just following you guys, but we just like you. Like, for instance, the money situation. We're in Canada. No American brothers can invest no money here. Do you understand how the money can flip here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, like, so for instance, like, not just hypothetically speaking, like Carmelo Anthony, these guys are doing Stay Mellow, weed brand. There's no gods who can represent that shit out here. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's an obligation, but I'm showing you it's just that them little things can help the scenario for brothers who like Raz is saying he's trying their best to get this message out here to identify the youth, because a lot of youth here, they won't identify with the Canadian brothers like that unless there's an American tag attached to it. You know what I'm saying? That's my add-on.
No, definitely, I definitely feel you. And also, that also further, because here's the thing, I'll add on to that, because like, yes, we're in different generations too, so that was even so much more heavier in the generation from your, because before, that's like, well, Drake is still coming up at the time, like there was no hometown love that existed that much more then, so there's super much more. And now there's a dynamic where it's almost flipped. Right? And I'm just talking about Toronto right now. And up over here, where it's like, now, like they love their hometown, the crew that has like the crew that's popping in their hood, that's dropping these 1, 2. So there's like a magnetic that's been developed over here that's very real. That is like, if some of them brothers out in the south, the babies are gonna follow them because they're the guys over here. They didn't even care. They're like, yo, this guy in my ends, he's a guy. Like, you know what I mean? So.
That's what I'm saying. Like, identifying who the brothers are, like, you're gonna find a certain dudes that when you see the youths in your community, the ones who have that, you know what I'm saying?
Like Marley is one of them.
That's
like,
you. That's who you're basically
that's
you.
why Marley's here.
You know what I'm
Like,
saying? Like,
he's a man that's on his
more
end.
like yourself.
That's like,
you know what I mean?
dealing with knowledge. So it's like, but it's like, you know, I know Marley, but I never necessarily met any other men from your ends, you know? But that's the thing. Now, if there was like 5 of me, we would have gone. You know what I mean? And then that'll be the next thing too. So it's like, but like at the end of the day, laws won't come in its own time.
Yeah,
but
but
at the same time we move in. But
idea.
yeah, you know?
I'm giving this because to help others, because we know the impression of what America does to our situation.
100%.
Nah, but you know,
You know
what
what I'm
though, God?
saying? So
is that back in the days compared to now? You go to the States now, God. You say you from Canada. You got some type of magnetic, God.
One more time, bring down your name one more time so we get it. My name is Just I Add. Just used to be in accordance with the law, and as you were saying earlier, the law of supreme mathematics. And from my time over the years building supreme mathematics, it allowed me to have the revelation of who and what I am, and who man is. And man is mine. Conscious, goodness, reality based on how we choose to look at it. In the add part of my name, it's really always a reminder to always be an individual to produce. Because add means to take that which has been separated and unify to produce a greater sum. You know, so I'm always striving to produce, and keep that in mind. If I'm bringing something into existence, it has to first be just. I mean, it has to be in accordance with righteous principles. But you could add something onto existence that actually just takes away from existence, or you could take away something that actually is a way to add. And add is also, I didn't say this earlier when I was breaking down my name, but add is also always destroy devilishment. And that's one of the best ways to add on, is to take away all the wrong shit, whether that be within yourself or in the community. So that's how I see it.
I got one last question for you. Obviously, our core teaches that the black man is God.
Right.
How would you, as a culture seed, be able to show and prove that and that reality?
And I'm really asking how you say you got the last name of the law.
Well, I'll answer both questions. First of all, black man being God is a testament to the father of civilization, the first one that comes from. We know that all seeds come back to the man. All seeds come back to the first man. So that's the science, is that even with Allah himself, Allah taught white people, right? Because like we were saying, the truth has no color. So the black man being God
The individual that taught me, my educator, he didn't teach me how to be devil, because he's not the devil. He taught me to be righteous, and righteous means to be in accordance with the law. So, like I was saying, black man being God, the black man taught me that even I come back to that seed. You know, I can also show him through the science with my physical root is Sicilian. You know, so we were individuals that were taught by the Moors. So we have that in that element. But I never come here to try to make other people call me God, because that's not what this is about. All I got to do is worry about being righteous and everything in a falling place. Because God is also good, orderly direction. Right? That's how you show him through God. Right? Because I don't see it as a title. I really see it as an action word. You could say you one thing, but until you show it, it has no motion. Right? And this is a very distinct purpose, because I understand the world, you know, everything that has been done to the black man. When he sees this knowledge first, he needs to see that within himself. I mean, it needs to raise him from, like you said, at the lowest to the highest. That's what I'm saying. When I first got this knowledge, I was like, yo, is this shit for me? Because on face value, I don't see myself on that first degree, you know? But when I really look at it at that degree, a lot of those things are action words, right? And that's another thing too, is that what makes us brothers is that we have the same father. And Allah doesn't make devils, you know? Because my father's not a devil. Peace, God.
Peace, man. I like that. That's peace. That's peace. That's peace.
All I got to worry about is good orderly direction, yo. Everything else can fall into place.
Right.
I'm not worried about the title.
Right.
You see?
That's peace.
As far as the law, it's the same thing. I don't want to cause no confusion. I know there's only one Allah, you know, as the father of the righteous nation, so I don't want to take that on. You know, Allah is self-taught, so
you just I add.
Just I add.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Great work. Okay, I see why Muslims bring the culture out, man.